Hello and welcome to the Ballcard Show, the sports podcast.
For the Sports Collector.
I'm Jason Otero.
I'm Gary LeMaster.
And this is Season 5, Episode 30.
That's a lot of episodes in a row for us.
You were talking about it a minute ago. There's no way that we had many seasons before this with 30 episodes.
Correct, let alone 30 in a row. If you are a long-time consumer
Our rhythm was a little different.
Yeah, of this brand, you know that we'd be like, we went for 3 months. We're going to take a month off. We'll be back. We'll see y'all at some point.
Yeah.
And we decided this year, no, we're doing this for real.
Yeah.
We're going to commit to this, and it has been 30 straight weeks.
We used to take such long breaks that my dad would be like, did y'all quit doing the
Yeah,
podcast?
did you stop?
Is everything all right? I know you were doing it for a while. It's been 6 weeks.
Yeah, we'll be back eventually. No, now it's hardcore, and when one of us can't be here, you've seen some solo episodes, and you'll see more of those. Let's talk about Amedios.
Oh, yeah. Show that we did over the weekend. Now, you've set up there before. This is my first time setting up there. A little over 200 tables. Good-sized room.
Yep.
Early start. You're out the door, what,
4:30 in the morning. We left my house. We got here, left your place a little after 5. Got home at, 6:30 that night?
Yeah, it was
The show opens at 8:30 to the public, which is very early start. Most shows open at 10.
13-hour day for me, about 14 for you.
Yeah, it was a lot.
But a solid show. I will say this. They said that it was sports cards and collectibles.
It's about 40-ish%
30,
Pokemon.
40, yeah.
There was one whole part of the room that was Pokemon almost, and then there was scattered throughout the rest of the room Pokemon.
Yeah, I'd say that the ratio of balding man buns and blacked out orthopedic New Balances
was pretty high.
Was pretty high in the room.
The reality of it is this, and I sometimes hesitate to go too hard.
Enjoy
in the paint.
people watching.
There are certain stereotypes within the sports card side of this hobby, and we've talked about them.
Oh yeah.
That tend to be true.
Body odor. A high use of GLP-1s, not for weight loss.
Yeah, the original on-brand
The original
reason.
on-brand GLP-1 gets used a lot.
And those hold true across the board in a lot of ways. It's not everybody, but the stereotype exists for a reason. Now, the Pokemon side of things, it has its own set of stereotypes.
I didn't know you could put that many tails on keychains in the same room.
I didn't know you could have that many colors of hair in one place.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know how many set of Pikachu ears I could see again in one place. It was a lot.
Pokemon collectors tend to be a lot nicer walking the show floor than the sports card crowd.
They learned at an early age because a lot of them probably ended up on the short end of that social ladder.
Well,
in
those
high
dealers,
school.
the ones that have been collecting this whole time, are so rich right now.
Oh, yeah.
They're walking around with the fuzzy boots that they wore in Dumb and Dumber.
The most exciting thing that happened at the show, and I don't know what it was, but it was big, 2 aisles over from us, halfway through the day, we just heard screaming and yelling.
Yeah.
Somebody opened something in a Pokemon pack, and everybody lost their minds in the show. Nobody got that excited over a sports card.
I'll say this. It didn't hurt. I don't know that it helped our business, but the show was packed, and I think this seemed to be a decent balance of it. I've been to some of the shows where they advertise it as a cards and collectibles, and it's like a 90-10 split.
Yeah.
This was a pretty good, I would say 60-40, maybe more like 70-30, somewhere in there, sports cards and non-sport.
We had a lot of people that came in the side door. By the time they got to us, they were like, are there any sports cards in this building?
They just went in the wrong side.
They just went in the wrong side to where all the Pokemon stuff was. That guy got excited. You did buy one of the coolest cards that either one of us has ever had on our table. Walked up to the table. No comps, but if you're a UFC guy, how about a Royce Gracie patch auto game or match used patch auto numbered to 8?
Yeah, dude.
Really cool.
I don't stay up to date these days with UFC, but the early stuff clear through about the time. I remember watching Cain Velasquez destroy Brock Lesnar. And that was I was just still hanging on to it. So that light heavyweight era, Chuck Liddell was my dude, where everyone could have a one-hit knockout.
So the era before that was my era when there were no weight classes. It was just the
just
ultimate
the
fighter. And
down strikes with the elbows.
I will never
eye
forget
gouging.
Gracie choking out Ken Shamrock, who had him by 100 pounds and a foot.
Yeah.
And he just spider monkey climbed his
that's
back.
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, he just spider monkey climbed his back, got it locked in, and 30 seconds later, he just collapsed, and he's just back here swatting at Gracie, and Gracie's just moving his head, choking him out calmly.
Always Gracie's a beast.
Different game back then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that spider monkey, that was Talladega Nights. Was that the real?
Yeah.
I'll be on you like a spider monkey.
Yeah.
What'd you kids do? We threw Chip's war medals off a bridge. I love my sons. I like that they talk to you. Anyway, that's sidebar. Media show was great. We have several coming up. There's a good chance we're going to be set up every weekend between now through early December. Let me give you the next few dates that we have on the calendar. We need to look up early December. What month is this?
Early December would be
early October
again if we do it.
Early October. So we've got the next few weeks. We've got Xenia this weekend. The following weekend we will be at Eastgate. The weekend after that, the 27th, we'll be in Newark, Ohio, at Don Jones Show. Shout out to Don. And then the 28th, Card Fest in Grove City, which is a booming, really fun show as well.
If you're within 2-3 hours of Columbus and you enjoy a really good show with a lot of great vendors and a great vibe in the room, it's worth the trip over on that Sunday if you don't have any other plans.
Speaking of great shows with a good vibe.
Yeah.
Thursday nights, 6 p.m. Eastern, every week. Join us on Whatnot. We hang out. We run 300 to 400 auctions. We run for a few hours until we're tired of running. Giveaways through the whole thing. If you like late 90s, early 2000s stuff that's a little unique, we sprinkle a lot of that in because we like it. And Nana Nana Boo Boo if you don't. So be sure to check that out at the Ballcard Show. All one word when you look that up. As in the Ohio State University.
The Ballcard Show.
All right. Let's move on to some releases. I didn't have much hobby news, and I'm not going to create news where I didn't see any.
Nope. There was a lot. We went over the main thing last week that was everybody was talking about, and then everybody really started talking about it. So
yeah. Because we did it first. No, I don't think that's the case.
Not the
That's
case.
been out there for a while. People bigger than us have talked about it.
Yes.
And it came out on August the 8th. When you think about it, that's really not hot off the press.
No.
Lukewarm off the press.
Tier 1 baseball comes out this week.
I like it. I like with the bat knobs, right?
That's the main thing in the product. The bat knobs and the bat barrels.
Expensive.
Yeah, expensive. And if you don't get one of those, it really doesn't hold up value-wise against some of the other main products.
Really fun product to watch case breaks of.
Yeah, but for the price point, for me, it's bat barrel, bat knob, or nothing is really what you're chasing in that product.
Yeah, financially, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're just rich and you love to open baseball, that's a
It's
cool
a fun
one.
product. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yep. We've got Obsidian basketball and then Flawless football next week.
Yep.
I love Flawless football for the Hall of Fame autos.
I
know the rookie stuff can really pop off, but I like finding those about a month after drop and
not even then. I like Flawless for the secondary auto market on what you just said. And Flawless is one of the few products that will still occasionally have a nice game used patch in it still. And you can get, if you have a weird, obscure PC like mine, you can find a lot of those vets that aren't even Hall of Famers, that you can get really nice on-card game used patches, really nice stuff at a pretty reasonable price. One of the prizes of my PC is a Flawless Ken Anderson game used patch auto, one of one. And I think I paid less than $100. I know I paid less than $100. It was like $97.50.
Let's talk about a product that dropped that doesn't seem to be available at the local LCS. The boxing product that Topps did, Topps Chrome.
Yeah, some of the biggest LCSs here in Central Ohio didn't even get it offered to them. The price point on it was fantastic.
Now, don't get me wrong. They're allowed to buy $4,000 worth of homage hoodies and hang those up in their shop. But if they wanted Topps Chrome boxing,
they weren't getting it. And they're not allowed to buy that stuff. They have to buy that other stuff.
I was trying to give them an attaboy to keep muscling through it, and you're spelling it out, which makes it completely lose the mystique.
Yeah,
there's no longer an Easter egg.
It's an Easter
egg that had a candy in it, but squirrels got to it.
The fact that Fanatics forces LCSs to buy stuff they don't have any use for and then doesn't give them
I was giving them a
products.
nod, but now you've just completely annihilated. Be like, I know more about this.
Topps Chrome Boxing released at $90 a hobby box. I was going to buy a case or two and just stick it in the closet. And the places I would have bought that from, Nope, they don't get any.
Is it just going straight to breakers? What's happening?
I don't know.
Or it's a super short printed product they're
Yeah.
testing the market. But so in our area, if anybody has it, it's probably the new shop downtown.
Yeah, Midwest would be
Go check
who's
there,
likely
see
to
if
have
they
it.
have it.
Oh, you know what else came out this week?
What? Oh yeah,
Topps Chrome SpongeBob, baby.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. I will do the whole set. I might even buy a case or two of blasters. I'm not buying the hobby because it came out at $250 a box. I love SpongeBob. I don't love it that much. But I will be doing the whole set. If any of you rip any SpongeBob, don't just go sell it crazy. Hit me up. I haven't decided what parallel I'm going to do the whole set in, but I'm going to do the whole set. Probably the of 99s would be my guess.
This is me actively not encouraging this.
I don't care. I love it.
No.
See my hat?
Can't wait for 5% of you that are watching this to reaffirm.
Pull me
I
a-
love his hats. I
pull
love
me a-
SpongeBob. I
pull
love
me a
your
plankton-
socks.
give me a
I love
plankton
that you
gold
dress like
vinyl."
a 7-year-old. And he's like, I just need one person in the room to make me feel like that, and that will be all of the positive reinforcement I need.
I bet we're going to get 20 this week now.
Here's what I know. This isn't the first time SpongeBob has been a cross-cultural hit. And
No.
like in fashion, I think I remember some collabs with like some pretty big designers.
Yeah.
So I know I'm like preemptively rolling my eyes that this product is going to be very collectible. It is going to be very liquid. People
Yeah.
are going to want it.
It bothers you so
Grown
much.
adults are going to be paying hundreds and thousands of dollars
Yeah.
for SpongeBob cards.
Yeah.
So when is the man bun coming?
Never. My hair
When
doesn't
do
work
you start
that way.
wearing a tail?
Never. My hair doesn't work that way. It's just wavy and gets bigger this way.
You should come up with like the SpongeBob version of furries.
No.
Like you just like
No.
actively attach barnacles to the underside of your arms.
Nah, bro. I'm
But I
good
am going to
there.
say this one time. Your CPAP machine did look like Bikini Bottom at one point.
My wife got that cleaned out.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Let's get to NFL. Week 1 in the books. We jumped the gun a week with our picks. I don't know what we were thinking. But let's look at this week that just finished. Jason beat me first week of picks. We're going to keep this running tally throughout the year and see where we end up. Jason went 9-7 on his week 1 picks. I went 7-9, a 4-game swing.
Sorry about it. What were a couple that I got right that you didn't?
Off the top of my
Commanders?
head, Commanders, Giants, yes. And what was the other
I
one?
can't remember what the other one was.
I don't know either. But you went 9-7. I went 7-9. So
Hate
we
to
had
see
that.
it. Couldn't happen to a better guy.
It's a long
Good
season.
game.
It's a long season.
Good game.
Let's talk about our week 2 picks.
All right, we're just going to roll through them
Let's
quick?
just roll through them quick
All right.
because we got a lot to do this week.
I'll read it off. You go first. Seattle at Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
I also in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh getting 2 revenge games in the first 2 weeks. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Up next, Washington, Green Bay.
Green Bay.
I'm going Green Bay too.
That
They
defense.
look so
Oh,
good.
Micah Parsons
They
made a
look
huge
so
difference.
good.
Yep.
Washington's tough. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think it's going to be a real test for the Commanders.
Yes.
If we're wrong, I'm not disappointed, but that's my pick. Rams, Titans.
Rams.
Sure.
Titans look
Rams. I'll go first next just in case so people know that we're not. Jags, Bengals. I'm going Bengals.
bad. Yes, Bengals.
Browns, Ravens. I'm going Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens.
Bills, Jets, Bills.
Bills, for sure.
Pats at Dolphins. Pats by 1 million.
Dolphins. I don't think they lay that big of an egg 2 weeks in a row. I'm just telling you my thought process. And it's going to be hot as hell in Miami that game.
Don't you tease me? Don't you try to make me feel positive
I'm just
about
I'm-
the disaster that is the Miami
It
Dolphins
was
right
bad.
now?
I am going to take the Dolphins there, though.
Should not even have talent on the roster the way that they were playing. Tua, welcome to the game. Feel free to join us.
Yeah, it was rough.
All right.
Niners.
at New Orleans. I got Niners.
New Orleans, because Brock Purdy may not play and George Kittle's out for a month.
Okay. So that could be, we've been almost the same on everything else. Giants, Cowboys. I think the Giants get one here.
Cowboys.
The Cowboys looked better than the Giants did in the first week, but
Till
I
Russell
like it.
Wilson isn't playing, I'll be picking against the
Wow.
Giants. It
That's
was bad.
strong, yeah.
Yeah.
Bears at Lions.
I'm going to go Lions because I don't think they can be that bad 2 weeks in a row.
I'm gonna go Bears. Something is afoot, and I don't like it.
Okay.
And I was bummed for them because if I had like a second team, I think it's become the Lions.
Dan Campbell.
First off, Dan Campbell was the interim coach at Miami that I wish they would have just gotten
Kept.
a contract
Yeah.
with. There was so much going on with Miami back then, but didn't, and then the way that they play for him, I think is awesome. But
you went Bears, I went Lions.
Yeah, I'll go Bears on that. Broncos, Colts.
Colts until they prove otherwise. That defense looked legit. The Broncos' offense did not look good in their game. They won, but it didn't look good.
The Colts looked really solid. And
Daniel Jones looked great.
Daniel Jones looked really good.
Yeah.
Which made me happy to see like him enjoying it.
Even though you hate that it makes me right.
Yeah, it makes you right. That's how happy I was for him. And it was against my Dolphins too. So
yep.
Panthers at Cardinals. Sold out crowd.
Bryce Young back to looking like duty. So I'm going to go Cardinals, even
I
though they didn't look good either. Kyler Murray's not good, guys.
Eagles and Chiefs. I've got Eagles. It's in Kansas City.
I think it's.
Come on.
I'm gonna go Chiefs.
Yes.
I'm going Chiefs. I don't know how I feel about that, but again, I think they're going to be pissed that they lost last week.
Falcons and Vikings. I think this is a good game, and I think the Falcons win.
I take the Falcons as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, it's in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I don't think it's by a landslide, but I just think that, I stick with
Falcons.
Yep. Bucks and Texans. I've got the Bucks. The Texans O-line's got to figure it out.
Yeah, guys, don't be. I don't want to hear anybody talking about C.J. Stroud not looking good. I don't care who you are as an NFL quarterback. If you are getting pressured on 80% of your dropbacks, you're not going to look good. Bucks.
I'm really glad I bought up all those C.J. K6 in the offseason.
Bucks.
So Bucks for me too. And then last game, Chargers and Raiders at Las Vegas.
Do you want me to pick first on this one, or do you want to?
I'll go first. I've got the Chargers winning.
Raiders.
Yeah.
Raiders. Indoor
they
Gino.
performed well last week.
Well, what makes me feel good is outdoor Gino looked better than normal outdoor Gino. So indoor Gino, and it's for the first game at that new stadium, isn't it? Or did they play there last year all year? Did they play there last year all year? Okay, maybe
now
they
you're
did.
making us look stupid.
It's Gino's first game.
Like stupid idiots.
It's Gino's first game in that stadium.
Yeah.
And I will take the Raiders in that game. So I think we have 4 or 5 differences this week.
Okay.
So it could be a landslide one way or the other.
We'll see what happens. Up next, the value box. So Gary and I have been spending a lot of time trying to think through what topics are we hearing the most, because at some point when you've been doing sports card podcasts for 5 years, you're covering same themes, same topics, but you have new takes, new things that are happening in the hobby and all that. So we were just looking through the comments, the questions we received, the questions people ask us at shows, the conversations that we're having. And it seems like there's one theme that everyone seems to be hung up on, where there's the most debate around it, whether you're talking about a show, eBay, repacks, breaks, whatever you're doing, and it is buying right.
Yeah.
How do I know that I'm buying the way I should, right?
Yeah, and I think that people get hung up on that question, and the answer to it's going to be different for everybody based on a lot of reasons. Some people buying at 120% is buying right because it's a super rare card and you're going to have to pay more than the last comp to get it. Some people it's 60%. Some people it's 10% because they're buying super low end stuff. Yep. And we're going to dive into kind of an overview of what that looks like. And then next week we'll dive into the weeds a little bit more, right?
Yeah. And the reason for that is this: if you ask 10 different people that are actively involved in the hobby, whether they're dealers or just pure collectors, you're probably going to have 10 different answers on what buying right means.
Oh, for sure.
So what we're trying to do today is kind of lay a groundwork, and we're even going to do something that we've never done, which is give you homework.
Yes.
If this is something that you're interested in, like growing in your knowledge for, becoming a better buyer, getting some reps in. So we're going to have something for you at the end here that'll make it kind of fun. But we're hoping to just kind of give you the right questions to begin thinking so you can build out a strategy of what works best for you.
Yes.
There is no one correct answer, right? If it is to make as much money as possible, then buying right is buying as cheap as possible.
Yeah.
If it is for your PC and you're collecting this one person and a card pops up that you have not seen in 10 years and you had a chance to get it but you didn't, the question might be, how far over comps am I comfortable spending?
Yeah.
So because of the different scenarios we find ourselves in, we just want to start asking you some questions and talk through our perspective, our thought process on what has helped us to become effective enough at buying to where we do this for a living. Now, we understand that some of you, that's not even your goal in the hobby. Perfectly fine. But if you've ever thought, am I buying right? What am I looking for? Or maybe you just get into a negotiation and realize, oh, I should have come here with a strategy. I should have had a plan because I don't like what's happening, but I don't want to lose out on the card. So just an overview, some 30,000-foot view stuff.
And some questions for you to answer for yourself so that you can figure out what this answer is for you. Because like Jason said, even for Jason and I, we have a little bit different
for sure.
Philosophy on how we go about this. These questions are meant to help you develop your philosophy that will work for you. What works for me may not work for Jason and vice versa, and what works for either one of us may not work for you.
Right.
So,
and the rules change.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the frustrating part. When you ask a question about buying in a space like this with collectibles, there's a lot of factors involved. And there's sometimes that the rules are a little different for some cards than others. And that's confusing to people getting into the hobby.
Yes.
Or trying to go from collecting to a business. So why don't you start off with that first question?
Yeah.
Just to kind of get the ball rolling.
First question's very simple. In order to answer what does this all mean, why are you buying? And you may have multiple answers to this question. Are you buying for your PC? Are you buying to resell? Are you buying for a long-term investment? Are you buying to grade and then flip? Like those, and you may say, I'm buying for all those things. If so, then you have to develop strategies for each one of those things. You can't approach them the exact same way. It's almost impossible. If you're a PC buyer, buy what you like. Spend what you're comfortable spending. Don't get too terribly hung up on comps on stuff you don't see very often. Buy it for your collection when you have a chance. How many people at the National say if you see a card, you better buy it then because it won't be there when you come back? That happens with rare stuff.
Yep. Doesn't happen with things that are artificially inflated.
Correct.
Right? Because
there's always another downtown.
Then you see those all over the trade night floor. So there's different perspectives. There are different ways that we buy within our business. Gary and I both set up at shows, but you'll notice if you try to sell to me or Gary that there's probably some differences in the way that we handle the conversation. We may even be trying to land around the same margin, but there are exceptions that we'll make. There are things that there are niches that Gary understands better than I do. There's stuff that I am more of an expert on than Gary is when it comes to buying, right? So it morphs into different situations. What we buy for Whatnot, we treat way differently than the way we buy for shows.
Completely different.
So much so that when people bring stuff up, like, I know you guys do Whatnot, I think we kind of be like, all right, here's how we buy for Whatnot. So all that to say is there's different approaches depending on what you're trying to get out of buying. So people, when they say buy it right, that can mean a lot of different things. And you just kind of have to pay attention to what makes the most sense for you.
Correct.
So the next question to ask is, so why are you buying? You need to establish, like, am I trying to do a business with this? Am I flipping to afford the hobby? Am I flipping to avoid To afford. Am I buying cards just to hang on to forever? Once you've answered that, a really important question to ask is, what do you know? Like, what is your expertise? What is your niche? And I know for some of you that are like into it now and it's fresh, you're like, I just love it all. Well, that's great. But I would venture to guess that we could drill down a little bit further and you would find that you're probably a little bit more of an expert in a certain area than you realize.
For sure. And one of the most important things when you're asking this question is to answer the inverse first. What do I not know well? Right? My kids are, and we talk about our kids a lot on this podcast, my kids are 28 and 25, and they're just reaching the point in life where they've understood a very simple fact. It's much better, and you will be much more successful no matter what you're doing if you lean into the things you know super well rather than trying to improve the things that you're not as good at. And that's true here too. But in order to do that, you got to know what you're not good at. For me, the number one thing in sports cards that I don't know, that I don't even try to know, and every time I think to myself, I probably ought to learn this a little bit better, I go, no, I shouldn't, is ultramodern basketball. I like basketball, okay. I'll watch it when the playoffs roll around. I'll catch a Cavs game here or there, and I enjoy the game. But I just don't care about it the way that I care about baseball and football. So I don't even try. When people bring ultra-modern stuff to me at shows, I start looking through their case. I'm like, is this whole row ultra-modern basketball? Yeah, the whole case is. Hey, man, I'm not your guy. If you got some old Jordans or Kobe's or Iversons, I'll absolutely take a look at that.
I mean, you would look at, like, you would probably look at an SGA or a LeBron. It's going to be like there's the handful of names that are hot at the time.
Yeah,
that,
but
know.
even then, it's not something that I know well enough that I'm going to get crazy with. Like,
well, I made this mistake. It's a really cool card. Do you remember the Asia Gold Spectra LeBron that I have numbered to 10?
Yeah.
Right? I had one misunderstanding on the parallel here, and I traded off a 67 Mantle that was really clean. Now, I thought I was trading up. I traded about even on the comps based off of the grade, but that's one that I was like, man, I really thought I crushed, and I did not.
Yeah.
And there's a reason.
And for me, I just, if you've consumed the pod for a long time, you guys know how much I love baseball, how much I love the prospecting side of baseball. That stuff, Jason laughs all the time. He's like, just talk to the encyclopedia over there. He'll be able to tell you.
Prospecting, if you're actually doing it, especially on the business side, maybe less if you're like just investing for a longer hold. It's kind of like, do I see the right stuff or not? Now's the time to buy. But if you're flipping prospects, it literally requires homework. It requires every week. Now, if you don't have a base of knowledge, it requires a lot more time. But if you have a general understanding of how it works, how they move up through the ranks, what age they are, how much longer it'll be before a potential call up, right? There's some stuff that helps, but how many hours a week do you think somebody that does that regularly is spending researching players, transactions, trades, movement in the
during season? This year with the pod, I was probably down to 8 to 10 hours. In the past, though, I was 15 to 20 hours a week every week during baseball season. For
that reason, I was dabbling with it more because I worked with Gary and he's all in it. I've kind of moved out of the Bowman First stuff. Unless it's one of the 3 to 5 big names and it's already established and their market is already popped, I really don't mess with it. And what I've learned is I am not an expert and I do not have the interest in spending the time to become an expert in that particular niche. But you know how this is. When we need to source whatnot, it's like I'm a dog on a leash. You can just let me go, and I'll come back with boxes of stuff that is great for it because I have put in the reps
to know that,
to be an expert in that low-end market.
Well, and the key to that is this, guys, and this is once you kind of know what you don't know, sometimes you struggle to know what you actually know from a confidence standpoint. When Jason, and even me to an extent now, especially on the 90s and 2000s stuff, because I know what our buyers and our whatnot stream like, I don't even have to pull. I don't look up comps. I don't anything. When I'm going through those boxes, I see a name and I see a card that looks good that I know what the parallel is, and it just goes in the stack. I don't comp anything. I just buy it. That's what you're looking for in a perfect world. Like the way we had it here in today's episode outline is, what could you talk about from in the card world super comfortably that you feel like you know the market of? If you're looking in somebody's showcase or you're looking at a sale online, you go, oh, that seems cheap.
Yeah.
Chances are you're right.
Yeah. So if you are at a show and you saw a card in the showcase, there's 50 different cards. What's a card that you would feel comfortable starting a conversation with the dealer about? Because you understand it, you have relevant conversation to offer in that. You might be surprised that you know a little more about it than you thought. You just lack the confidence.
That's the key
to do that. But that's a great way to do it. Or if you find yourself over and over looking at a card, one of our buddies, Ryan, bought a card yesterday, a baseball card. I think it was a Caminero RPA. But his message to me was, this seems cheap. And what was interesting was that particular card had a comp that, in my opinion, seemed low as well, but the overall market has risen over time.
Yeah.
And he identified a great buy where he was able to get right around or close to sticker and maybe just a touch under it and already have margin baked in. Why? Because he knows baseball, because he follows that team, because it's an easy conversation to have. It takes so much pressure off to say, this is kind of where I'm a little bit of an expert or where I'm obsessed. Now, expertise is something that can change. So just because you're not an expert doesn't mean that you never buy it. For example, I am committed to diversifying my business by spending more time researching the vintage market right now. And what that means is I force myself to try to buy more vintage.
Yeah.
When you want to talk about an area where you feel intimidated, you got a guy that's not in his 60s, right?
Well, and it's so different.
It's different
from ultra modern. Like when I say a PSA 2 will oftentimes outsell a PSA 4.
Or can. I wouldn't say
but can.
Yeah.
Based on presentation. To us that live in the modern and ultra modern world, that doesn't make an ounce of sense.
Yeah.
But it happens in vintage a lot.
And the way that I'm getting more experience is I try to buy more vintage, knowing that some of these buys are not going to work out as well as I thought they were going to.
Correct.
Vintage is something where you could have a card that with ultra modern, there's comps at 175, 225, 190, 210, 2, right? That's really common.
Yeah.
We can see that type of a spread. Vintage on a card that's $200 will look like 110, 320,
71,
279.
Yeah.
And it is the same card. And it's in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So the vintage market is one that I want to step into, but I know that I can get baked on that real quick if I'm not careful.
But the thing about getting baked sometimes is, and this is antithetical to a lot of people, you said it really well. Getting to be an expert in anything takes reps. So if you want to be an expert in Bowman, you got to put the reps in. You got to put the time in. You got to go buy stuff.
Let's use that example.
Yeah.
What are some examples of what that means? Because it's more than just buying Bowman, selling Bowman, buying Bowman, selling Bowman. That helps.
Yeah.
But what else do you have to do?
So you need to, these are the things, in my opinion, you need to have to be successful if that's an area you want to be an expert in. One, you have to know baseball. You have to understand not just the game, but in my opinion, you have to understand, basic mechanics. You have to understand what a good swing looks like, because in the minor leagues, output isn't what people are measuring. It's a lot like youth sports. I care much more about, as a football coach, when I'm watching a junior high kid play a game, I care much more about that offensive lineman's footwork and hand placement than I do whether he gave up a sack, right? I care way more about that, because the rest of it can be taught. This can be taught, you know what I mean? So with baseball, if I'm looking at a prospect and I want to see his swing, I was out on Drew Jones, the number 2 pick in the draft 3 years ago. I was out on Drew Jones before the draft, even though I knew he was going to go number 2 overall. I was out because the swing was awful. And it wasn't going to get better. There's certain things you could just see. And he still went number 2 overall, and people still went crazy for his cards. And every single person that went crazy for those cards got absolutely destroyed. It's worth 3% now of what it was then. So you got to know the game, and then you have to watch as these guys climb the ranks.
I guess that's what I was getting more into the weeds on. For you to stay on top of that, there are resources that you're using on a regular basis.
I'm using MILB.com to track stats and progression. I'm using Baseball America to look at scouting reports. I'm looking at Pitching Ninja to see pitch shapes and whether guys are improving their K rate and their ball placement, and all the little variables that come into play. We talked about Jacob Mizrowski a couple months ago before he got called up in the call-up segment. And this was a guy who you watched mechanically, you watched pitch shapes change as he figured out how to land in the strike zone. And it was like, oh, not only did that happen for a game or 2 games or 3 games, this whole season, the command is there. It's time to jump on that train because the rest of the stuff is filthy.
And here's where expertise matters. And we're throwing out that word. When we say that, it doesn't mean you know everything about all of it and that you're always right.
No.
What it means is you're committed to being someone that is constantly learning about this. And what happens is some people confuse expertise with, I watched this influencer do a buying show where they bought a lot of Bowman.
Right.
And they're really big on this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Drew Joe, that was a perfect example of how that can. So if you're really going to delve into a market, you have to decide, what kind of work am I willing to put in? He enjoys reading those scouting reports. He has a blast watching swings. And I've done that a couple years with you, and I can see it and do it. Like Josue DePaula was a guy that I was real big on. I love his swing. I still think he's got a great swing. He's done pretty well for himself.
Top 12 prospect in baseball.
He's moving up. But I don't want to do that all summer every year.
I enjoy the heck out. It's the same thing when we buy for whatnot. We have a process that we use, and we'll get into what that is next week probably. But one of my very favorite things to do, and he laughs at me every week.
Oh my gosh.
Is we buy the stuff, and then I cannot wait, like a kid at Christmas, to go home and just dig through it and see exactly how well.
What I mean by that
did.
is comping $7 cards, because he wants to know if they're worth 5 or 7.
Yeah, I care. That's how I know that I'll never get tired of this business. It still brings me joy.
Well, maybe I'll get tired of it then.
then.
But what hasn't happened is him comping like 250,000 low-end cards in the last year and a half.
Right, but
that can make you tired.
But because you did it, you don't have to do it anymore.
I don't have to do that anymore.
And those are the reps we're talking about. And here's the reality. When you buy something and you buy it right, you're going to learn a positive lesson. You're going to learn a bigger lesson when you get baked on something. That
bad buys will teach you more than a good buy that you already knew was a good buy.
Yes. And we've all made them. There's no such thing as somebody who hasn't made a bad buy. And if you do this at scale, you're going to make a lot of bad buys. Jason and I still make bad buys almost weekly.
But you know what has helped us? This is a hobby or business. Like if you're doing it like we are, I don't know why I air quoted that. It is a business. We spend too much time on it for it not to be. We almost jokingly like have fun at the fact that we bought wrong now, because I think we've learned that the worst thing we can do is double down and try to convince everyone and ourselves that we were right about that buy when we weren't. And Gary and I have a fun way of being like, you're an idiot. What were you thinking? Like, bro, why did you? And we talk through, well, I looked this up. Here was the comp I found. It always happens with us.
Well,
with
and
stuff
you
that
still
there's not a
have
lot of comps
panic
on.
moments sometimes. This weekend, a perfect example. You bought Japan edition.
Oh, yeah.
Ellie
Auto.
Topps on-card auto to 50, correct?
Rookie, yeah.
Rookie auto to 50, the Topps Japan edition. And
super rare.
You felt really good about it until 30 seconds after the seller walked away from the table.
That seller bounced.
And then your face went white, and you looked at me, and you were almost panicked until we kind of walked through it again. Like, you're fine.
Here's the comps I found. I think this value's here. Is it blah, 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 blah? And we worked with like, oh, yeah, you were spot on. But it just can happen that quickly, especially if you let somebody just run talking over you as you're buying, right?
Yeah.
Well, this car, blah, if somebody's doing that, that's a huge red flag for me. We'll get into a little more of those details later. But let's talk about homework.
Yeah, this is a fun one, okay? So if you want to know whether you are actually an expert in the market for something, and when I say in the market, it doesn't mean that you're going to be right to the last comp, to the last penny. We're talking about whether in general you can look at a card without pulling up your phone and checking comps and say, yep, I should buy this card. I either am getting it at a good value or I'm not overpaying for it. So here's your homework this week. Your mission, if you choose to accept it.
Yes.
I want you to take a $20 bill. That's it. No more, no less. Take a $20 bill. I want you to go to your favorite LCS or your card show this weekend that has dollar boxes. And you should stay in the dollar boxes, okay? Because that's where you really can build a good foundation.
Yeah.
Cut your teeth, and you're not going to lose much, if anything, right? And I just want you to go through those, and anything that you think is worth $2 to $5 that you only have to pay $1 for, I just want you to put it aside. I want you to buy 20
whatever
cards.
Ones are the best. It doesn't make $2 to $5.
Just whatever you think are the best cards, right? I want you to buy 20 of them. Spend $1 a piece. Buy 20 of them. Don't look a single one of them up.
No comping when you're buying them.
at all. Go home, and once you get home, comp them and see how you did. Find out whether you actually know what you think you know.
Right.
Yeah, and what you're going to find is some of the things that you thought you knew, you actually did.
Yeah. What if you think you're a baseball person, but you got 10 football cards that are worth way more? Like you might be a little bit better. You might have a hunch, or there might be a parallel does well for baseball, and you saw that in football. Not many products where it carries over right now, but that same principle. You got to start putting the reps in. I am really good in value boxes, because the first collection I bought was over 500,000 cards, and I went through it and picked.
It was so many monster boxes.
I sold so many of those cards that would have been great low in eBay, but I forced myself to do that. In the last year, I've listed 65 to 70,000 cards.
Yep.
And I've probably comped 150,000 cards.
Yeah.
So there's, you go through collections, you're going to be like, is this worth listing? No. And that's going to happen enough when you buy it. Like, you niche down, you become an expert in certain things. This does not mean we know everything about everything.
No.
What it means is we've learned what we're not actively seeking to buy, which makes you more focused.
Yes.
Whether you're collecting or flipping or doing a full-blown business, whatever you do, niching down into your space. Like, my dad has been a collector since he was a little kid.
Yep.
And he loves vintage. And
now
he likes
he's old
cards,
as hell.
Oh. Now,
love you, Mark.
now he's enjoying that there's a boom in the hobby.
Yeah.
But he doesn't necessarily love the boom in the market in the same way. He's probably not. He's not a big fan of the lottery products. There's a lot of collectors that share that same sentiment. He likes Judge. He likes some of the new players. He'll buy them, but he's somebody that every couple of years he'll look into, he'll buy a few boxes of this and that, and then he just kind of goes back to, I just like the old stuff.
Yep.
I just like vintage. That's where it is. So, like, for some of you, that's what we mean too. It's not that you're saying, I'm the final expert on everything here. I know everything about it. And if you don't know everything about it, don't buy. We're not saying that. We're saying selective buyers make better buying decisions.
Yes. And whatever reason you're buying, this is whether you're buying for your PC, whether you're buying for resale, whether you're buying to grade, whatever the reason you're buying, it's really, really important that you know that market well enough to be comfortable working inside of it without necessarily grabbing your phone every single time you want to buy something. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Like I said, we'll get into the nitty gritty of that down the road. But trust me when I say your journey in this hobby, no matter what it looks like, is going to feel better for you as a buyer and a seller if you don't have to get into those power struggles all the time.
Yeah.
Right? About comps.
Yeah. I still check every time. But I think the sentiment of what are the types of cards that if you saw, you would kind of have a feel of what the value is.
Well, yeah,
that's a good starting point. But like, I think most people that listen to this are going to be ultra modern collectors or dealers.
Sure, but
and that is going to change.
It is, but even within that window, I'll use an example that happened to me at the National. I was in a showcase and I saw a Derrick Henry rookie card. It was a PSA 10 and it was tagged at $40. It was a select. I didn't pull my phone out.
Sure.
I didn't anything. I went, I'll take that card. I didn't know how much it was worth. I was 100% sure it was worth considerably more than $40.
Right.
If I had pulled my phone out, here's what can happen a lot of times. And this may be getting a little too deep in the weeds. So if it is, punch me and tell me to shut up.
Just kidding. Go ahead.
If you do that, if a dealer sees your eyes get huge, this happened to us this weekend. It was a little annoying. The guy came back and apologized later and made up for it. But I pulled a card out of a guy's box, put it in my stack of stuff. It had a price tag on it. It was $8. And it was a Griffey Jr. refractor, early 2000s Topps Chrome refractor. And I said, hey, there's what I'd want to be on the stack. He came back and told me where he could be and had taken the price tag off of that and refused to sell it to me at the price it was listed at. What I should have done was set that card aside by itself, not worried about the rest of it. I should have just gone and bought it because I knew it was worth more than $8. I didn't know how much more it was worth. The guy ended up selling it later that day for $80.
You knew it was a
numbered.
50-plus card, though.
Yeah, I knew it was an more expensive card.
Which, good for you.
And that's what I should have done. And I got greedy and tried to get the whole stack at a better deal. So, it happens both sides.
Yeah, we'll dive a lot more next week into like the nuances in a negotiation, the things that can happen. A lot of this is body language. Like that's why I got nervous with the Ellie.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just that kid was nervous about the card too, and projecting it. Once I found out those Topps Japan autos to 25 are as rare as they appear to be, I'm very happy now, right?
Yes.
But take some time to work through those questions. Grab $20 and go hit a value box and see.
No comping.
Am I as comfortable? Yeah.
Till you get home.
We're going to have some people that are fans that are like, I turned $20 into $700. Look what was sitting in there.
Yeah.
I'm not believing that either. You're trying to say, are there any trends with what I picked that I felt comfortable with? Now,
yes,
you're also going to find yourself gravitating. So like maybe you find out that 15 of the cards you picked were football. And you've been buying a ton of baseball and having a hard time buying it right because you think baseball is where the market is. It may be pushing you to football. So what does that tell you? What can you find? What do you not find? Now, It could just be junk value boxes too.
Sure.
We're just trying to give you something you can work with, people, to begin
I will tell
kinda
you this.
narrow down what you want to.
It doesn't
buy.
matter how junk a dollar. If you're at a show, especially, and there's 100 tables, I promise you, there's at least $100 boxes.
And there's probably 10 or 15 juicy ones there.
Yeah. If you get into a box and it looks awful, go to a different spot in the box. Go to two. If they all look awful, leave. Go to the next one. You don't have to stay at that value box. We're lucky enough to have 2 or 3 LCSs close by that have really good dollar boxes. So, you know, it is what it is. But do the homework if you care about any of this, and you'll learn some really valuable things from it.
Next week, we're going to get into the specifics of this. So when we're buying for Whatnot, what is our approach? When we're buying for our showcases, what are things that we do? What are the percentages we try to buy out? When do we break the rules of that and pay more or pay less? What are some of the other things for next week? Just super tactical here's how we approach it. But if you don't work through this that we talked about today, then you're just creating a ton of work for yourself, and you won't see much progression. One reminder to the others of you, and I doubt those of you that are in this category are still listening. Our perspective is guys that do this full-time, dealers that are set up almost every weekend. We can't not be those people.
Yeah, that's who we
are. So for those of you that are pure collectors, just for the PC, everything's a business, we can't not be people that are dealers. So that's going to be our filter.
Yes.
So unapologetically so, apologetically so, however you work it. But we do think these same principles will be helpful to you to maybe buy a little better on your PC.
Yes.
To maybe have a little bit more luck in some things that we've done to build relationships. If you're building out sets, relationships are huge.
Relationships are huge, period, in this hobby.
We'll talk through that a little bit next week, but we want to give you very tactical things in the value box, all centered around buying. More to come next week with that. Before we wrap up today, I want to do a low-end liquid. This is a set that I was like, did I share this before? And I did not.
Nope.
But I was a little bit surprised. This set has performed well for me because of uniqueness, because of it being an exclusive product. I'm not aware of other products. There may be some unlicensed ones. But Topps Chrome did this Olympic and Paralympic hopeful set. And there are some really, really cool there's patches in there. There's parallels. There's numbered cards. You have some all-time greats in there. I've sold some showcase stuff too.
Sure.
Ilona, that is the rugby player, sold a really cool numbered patch of hers. Michael Phelps, PSA 10 numbered card that sold in like a week.
I had somebody asking about Michael Phelps at a show a couple weeks ago.
And then you have the factor that I would call like the minor league factor for eBay, which is this. The example is always named Jimmy, by the way. I don't know if you realize this. Jimmy played high A ball in 1998 or 2000, and Bowman happened to have his card there. And since 2000, his aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, neighbors across the street still buy his card to get it autographed.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Sure it is.
And sometimes it is almost like a more obscure product has to have enough people that will buy that.
Yeah.
And I've done it enough to say that it's there. I think there are some similarities with this, but we're talking about the Olympic market. So you have a whole different collector base.
Correct.
You know, Olympics collectors collect a lot of merchandise, pins, apparel, those types of things.
And
images.
it's a little more pop culture. Like, so a lot of times people who care about this stuff don't care about baseball or football. But boy, every 4 years, they're going to watch 39 hours of figure skating.
Yep. Right when it dropped, and it was a retail SKU. Was there a hobby as well?
I am not sure. It's just not a product that I followed at all.
But these have been pretty steady sellers for me. Obviously, you know the bigger names.
Topps Chrome, right?
Topps Chrome does it. Yep. And it's all of the Olympics, Paralympics, all kinds of stuff on there. So be on the lookout for these. This is a little To Paris with Love, Katie Ledecky. But you'll find a lot of big names that you've seen throughout the years in there, and there are absolutely people who collect it. Steady drip seller for me.
Yeah.
Low-end liquid, Topps Chrome, the Olympics stuff. So
perfect.
All right. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that we forgot to mention? A reminder, once again, if you haven't yet, first off, a weird thing has been happening in the last month. Our follower base has been growing significantly. Like the traction that we're getting is really fast. And that means so much to us. Gary and I have goals, dreams with the business that we can continue to be normal dudes that sell cards and come across with that authenticity to all of you.
For sure.
So taking a moment just to subscribe or follow or share. We're kind of in this season now. We don't normally ask for that stuff. Something cool is happening. and we really appreciate all of you for it.
Absolutely.
We found this community with a lot of you, and we really enjoy being able to be a resource, be entertaining, or just fill noise in the background while you're working on other stuff.
You just described our Whatnot show. Speaking of,
Yep.
every Thursday.
Every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, we run auctions. We do not do 5-second sudden death. We will not yell at you. We will not talk about comps. Will we pout sometimes? Yes. But we don't try to make it obvious. But we would love for you to hang out with us. Check us out there at The Ballcard Show, all one word. This has been The Ballcard Show, the sports podcast.
For the Sports Collector.
Bye now.
Peace.